Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Monday Night. Monday Night Raw, as it Ryan would probably say. So, welcome to our newest feature. This is Retro Gaming Revival presents Mod Cons. Welcome, everybody. And hopefully, everyone will enjoy this new feature and see where we're at with it. Obviously, we've got a few people in the chat already. Let's see who we got in. We have got in Mr. Mean Machine Dean in the house.
Right,
We've got
Dean.
Mr. Ali.
Right, Ali.
Mr. Ryan in there showing his support and all.
Monday Night Nitro, apparently.
Mr. Jarvis, welcome.
Hi,
Nice to see you there.
Hello.
How are we doing? Got Mr. Dorbs in the house as well as all. Who else we got? We got Robin here.
All right, Rob.
How's it going? We got Retro Ed. We got a full house in here tonight. This is fantastic. Thank you everyone for joining. And we got Mr. Goldtooth himself as well. How are we doing? Excellent. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. This is our newest feature, so we'll see how this goes and see how people enjoy it. As you will tell, there's a few less of us than there normally is, so we decided for this one we'll sort of keep it a little bit smaller and see how this goes. We might have guests in at some point, but we'll test run it and see how this goes. So, joining me this evening we have Mr. Triangle Face Tim.
Hello.
And of course we have Mr. Blunners.
Right.
So, sorry, sir.
I was trying to do the Rock's eyebrow, but it doesn't really work.
Excellent. So, to kick us off, the first thing that we're going to be talking about is, first of all, for people that are joining, we are going to be talking about modern gaming. So, as with quite a lot of people that collect and play retro games, most people probably also play modern games. I play a lot of modern games myself. I know you guys both play quite a lot of modern games as well. So, this should hopefully just give us a little bit of an outlet to be able to talk to other people about our sort of like for modern gaming, all the new stuff that's going on, all the news, because there's constantly new things happening in the modern gaming world. So fingers crossed this will just give us that that outlet to give it a go and have a chat about what's going on. So first feature of this evening, chaps, is something I'm going to call "What are you playing?" What are you playing that is I would say, current gen stuff, or PS4, Xbox One, Switch stuff. What sort of games are you guys playing at the moment? Is there anything you're playing of worth?
I'll let Tim go first.
I'm still playing. I mentioned this on a few previous streams. I'm still playing through Ni no Kuni 2. So Lady Decade recommended it when was she on? Like 3 months ago, I want to say.
It was a little while. It was quite a while.
Probably like 40 hours in now. It's really good. It's quite a story-driven game. But I'd say you've got 3 areas that you kind of do a lot in, and it's if you play Kingdom Hearts, very similar to Kingdom Hearts, the battle system is basically the same. It's like got that hack and slash with a little bit of magic and stuff, and you can learn different abilities, and you've got to think about your equipment and all that sort of stuff. So it's got that element to it. If Kingdom Hearts is Final Fantasy meets Disney, Ni no Kuni is more like Final Fantasy-esque games meets Studio Ghibli. And like the animation style looks like Studio Ghibli. I think the first game was actually, the animation was done by Studio Ghibli. This one it isn't, but they've kept the same style, so it looks kind of Studio Ghibli-esque. And you've got all the battles and everything. And then you have these bits where it's like a skirmish, and it'll be like top-down view of the world map, and you're controlling units of soldiers. And you have to go around like taking out other units of soldiers and clearing an area out. And then the other part of the game is you're building a kingdom. So you start off with empty kingdom, and you have to build like your castle, you build like an armory, and you build like a farm and things like that. You've got to build up your kingdom with. And the way you build it is as you go around the game, every time you go to a new region, you meet people, and they'll give you side quests to do. And for completing their side quest, you'll get a few items, and they'll say, "Oh, I'll come and join your kingdom." So you get like soldiers that way, and then you get like, I don't know, somebody that makes weapons that comes and becomes your blacksmith. But then you'll meet like random characters like, "Oh, I'm a baker. Can I come live in your kingdom?" It's like, okay, cool, we'll get a baker. Oh, we'll get a librarian in. Oh, yeah, we'll get somebody who sells fish. And literally you're building up this kingdom. And then when you walk around in it, you can walk around and speak to all the people that live there. And you kind of know a little bit about their backstory. And know that because you've met the character and done a mission for them before they then join your kingdom and become part of it. So you kind of get really invested in what's going on in the kingdom. And then you've got the main storyline of you're basically trying to build up your own kingdom and then make treaties with other kingdoms in the area.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really good. It takes a long time to kind of, you get sucked into some of the side quests. I think if you're a completionist, you want to do all the side quests. There's absolutely loads. There's huge amount of content in it, which is why I'm still playing it like 3-4 months later.
Yeah.
I've got a bit of a backlog now. Games I want to try. I know I definitely want to do BioShock and Uncharted. So it's going to be a bit of a coin flip, I think, between which one of those games to do, and then I'll probably try and get in some other modern games as well, because those ones are kind of a bit older now, aren't they? But I think I want to do.
Although BioShock is the remaster, isn't there, on Xbox One, PS4?
Yeah.
So
there's also the PS5 and PS4 remaster of Uncharted as well.
there is.
So I will dip my toe into one of those and see what takes my fancy. But I was quite lucky, really, because as soon as we came off that stream, I thought, oh, look up Ni no Kuni, it sounds good. And I checked it, and on the PlayStation Store, it was massively discounted. I think I got it for like £6.
Nice.
So it was just good timing, I guess. It just happened to have a sale. I thought, okay, I'll get that for £6. It's worth a punt. And yeah, I'm 40 hours in now. So yeah, pretty good.
Excellent. Nice one. Mr. Blunners.
All right, well, I've been playing quite a few things. I literally just finished Guardians of the Galaxy on PS5 last night. Loved it.
How was that?
Oh, mate, the actual, like, the dialogue is so good. Like, they're just taking the mick out of each other.
Mm-hmm.
Even I think I picked up Black Friday sale, but I don't want to add it till Christmas because it was only £30 at the time.
Yeah.
PS5 graphically it's excellent, but the actual storyline, the game's a bit more like a bit hack and slashy kind of like, but the storyline's what keeps you going because the characters you know from the films, and they are literally just taking the piss out of each other. And instead of saying the F word, they're saying fracking. So they're going, "Oh, you fracking," and I was like, "Did you just swear?" You know, and you're trying to like double take. But that one I've been slowly working my way through.
Yeah.
And it is awesome. And well, I've also been playing the new Pokemon game, Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Excellent.
On the Switch. I got the limited edition one, which comes with. Hang on, I've got it here.
Here's one I had earlier.
A little metal case. So it's
Beautiful.
like this. Like you get these really nice, steel like the tin cases on it, and that game is basically. It's so good. It's unbelievable. They've taken away they've completely changed the dynamics of like you can like trying to just build a team, getting them strong, and then just going around to gyms and taking on a leader at the end. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now you're actually like basically having to like hunt them out in the wild, and you're like jumping in between like blades of grass, like hiding, because if certain ones see you, they will just straight up come and attack you. And they will come after you, and you're having to like run. The only way you can like defeat them is literally taking your Pokemon, throwing them out, and trying to fight them.
Wow!
Like, yeah. So you're basically
you. Then they don't attack your Pokemon; they actually attack you as the player.
If you get spotted, say like it's like a Ghastly, like there's a ghost one, yeah. All right, Dobbs. In a minute, we'll talk about all things Amico and Tommy Tank, yeah. But so if you get like attacked, if you get seen, you actually get like attacked. They chase you. Like certain ones, whereas other ones, like I think there's like these like Bidoo things that look like little rats or little like cats. They'll look at you and they'll just be like, yeah, what, and they'll just carry on. Whereas some of them will see you and then they will just shit themselves and run. But so you've got to someone said it's kind of like Breath of the Wild, and it pretty much is because you're constantly having to farm and find like stuff around the areas. And you're having to like sneak in between like grass and catch them. But there's also like you're trying to build like this first Pokedex of like what Pokemon are actually out there. So it's a case of like rather than just like you just catch it, wow, it's one and done. You don't really care. Whereas you catch one, it'd be like, oh, you got to catch 15 of these. And oh shit! Oh, you've got to catch.
Okay.
Like 15 of these, you've got to catch you've got to catch at least 20 hidden in like without being spotted. And then it'll be like, and you've also got to feed 5 of them. You've got to see it use this type of move. You've got to see these many, like 4 or 5 of them get evolved. So it's it's really good because you are literally working your way through. I will just go out for like it will take me about 40 minutes. I'm just going around catching things, hiding, going back and forth, and it is brilliant because it's taken out. It's like. You always thought like, well, you've got these. Why do they just fight each other? But now they actually, if they spot you, they come after you and they're chasing you. So
nice.
I know it's sold absolute gangbusters out in Japan.
Yeah.
And I know it's done really well over here in the UK as well. But Yeah, it was a lot. It's basically like Breath of the Wild, like Pokemon version, and like it gets a lot of stick saying that the graphics are crap and all that, but it's actually all right. It's not like, well, you got Switch. Well, you ain't expecting it to be
It's a
like,
style though, isn't it? They're not going for
yeah,
realism, are they? Like
more of
certain
a,
games have like that
it's more
animation
of a
style.
brush. But yeah, it's more of an animation-y, like Japanese brush style of like
Yeah.
game. Yeah, but
Okay.
it is really. I think like you say, like remember everyone remembers Assassin's Creed 1, yeah. Then
Mhm.
that was just like that was all right, but it wasn't great. But when Assassin's Creed 2 came out and Ezio, and they built that story, so they, you know what I mean? If this is the first one, and then if they can build them up like this from now on, they'll be laughing because
Mm.
it's really good.
Excellent. Yeah, 'cause all the stuff I've seen from it so far does look really good. I watched Geb
Mm.
stream it a couple of weeks
Really good.
ago, and I thought it looked beautiful. It clearly runs really well on the Switch as well. But I really like the sound of it, if I'm honest. Like, I've missed Sword and Shield, which I was a bit like, oh, I was a bit gutted I missed that because that looked like a really good sort of 3D one. But it seems
It's
like
all right.
this one is the one to jump in on.
Yeah, Sword and Shield is basically like your traditional one. You got some new ones in there. You go around, you get build a team, and you go and fight all the battles and that. There's
Mm.
some DLC on it. Whereas they released, is it Shine? Is it Pearl and Silver as well? I've got that one as well, but
Mhm.
kind of
Yeah.
me and my daughter kind of dropped off it. But this one is I'm about 50, 60 hours in because
Yeah.
I was off with COVID for a couple of weeks. I've literally just been playing that as soon as it came out.
Yeah.
But and then the other thing I've been playing is the new Nintendo Switch Sports.
Yes, you were
I
lucky enough to
managed,
get a
Nice.
code,
Yeah.
weren't you?
yeah. So I managed to get a code for literally in the Nintendo Direct at the beginning of the month. They showed it off, and I had heard rumors that Nintendo had increased what they felt they were going to sell unit wise this year. And everyone's thinking, well, what the fuck? Well, Breath of the Wild. Everyone knows Breath of the Wild 2 is coming out. So
Mhm.
what else have they got up their sleeve? And then bang, this they show you this, and it's amazing. So,
Yeah.
so it's obviously because it's worldwide, and you can only play it at a certain times in 45-minute spells. The first one for us UK time was 3 o'clock in the morning on Saturday morning, and
Damn.
so me and my son got up because he wanted to play it as well. So both of us got up 3 o'clock in the morning, playing it, trying to play it, and it just kept crashing. And we're thinking, shit, what's going on here? It was literally not working at all. And it took about 6 minutes, and it started working. But you go in to like your page, and it's basically like a random battle. Randomly takes you to either bowling, the tennis, or the chimbara, which is like your gladiators
Mhm.
with the swords. But the actual bowling was really good because it's all online. You get up to 16 players to start with. It's like you press down on the ZR and then you just bowl. It's like you just bowl like you would do, and if you want to twist or whatever, you'll put the spin on
Yeah.
it. Like basically, it is just Wii Sports, but
Mhm.
done up new. And but where it was 16 players, you get you get like goes, and then the top eight stay, the bottom eight see you later, and
Mhm.
then
All
it's the
right.
top five, then it goes to the top three, and basically then the top three fight it out. And I managed to win the whole thing twice, but I had an absolute monster. Like my last goal, and it was like a monster. It was like 200 and nearly 220 points. So throughout the whole thing, I thought, no, I'm not going to do it again because it was such a good score to beat.
Yeah.
The tennis was just like before. They kind of move for you, but you swing with it, and it's just it was good because obviously my kids all missed out on that
Yeah.
generation. So to play it with the kids, because it was the last one was 11 o'clock on Sunday morning, so we done the last
Yeah.
test on it, and yeah, it's day one for me, guaranteed,
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
just a good laugh.
I think from the stuff that you've sort of shown, and all the stuff that we've seen from it, I think it's probably the one thing that Nintendo really did miss out on in a really big way on I mean, the Wii U didn't really get much of a chance to kind of get its feet going, really. But
No, I didn't
Wii
think.
Sports is such an iconic game. It really is. Just everybody. I mean, the Wii sold a bucket load anyway, and it came free with a Wii, didn't it? Really, but
Mm.
that game was just absolutely iconic. So the fact that they're bringing a version of it back for the Switch is the best idea they've had in a long time. And I know
Yeah,
Nintendo do have a lot of great ideas, um, but this one I think is a particularly good move. I have to agree
They've
with
added volleyball, football, and they said that like the leg strap thing's coming with it, so they're going to eventually be able to
Oh,
kick as well.
that's cool. So I saw the leg
And
strap thing. I was like, oh, I don't have one of those. But if it comes with it, that'd be pretty
yeah,
good.
it comes with it.
Extra,
Yeah, and then,
yeah, that's good.
and then golf is coming as DLC. But the only one they're missing, which hopefully they'll bring in DLC, is boxing.
Yeah, I was going to say
Yeah.
boxing was really good on the first one.
Yeah, so they haven't. That's the only one that's missing from the original. But
That's a shame because they did Arms, didn't they, as a launch title, which was
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
boxing. It was a weird
Yeah.
boxing game where you could like have like the the springy
Yeah.
arms and all that kind of stuff. But
You could get a really good boxing game going on the Switch, I reckon, couldn't you?
Mhm.
I think if you had they got the mechanics for it. So there's a few good boxing games in VR as well, isn't there? There's like Creed and things like that. There's a few boxing. I've got a couple of boxing games on the PS VR with the Move controllers, and they work fairly well. But there's something about Wii Sports boxing, that first one, that it just works really well. It's really responsive, like when you're actually doing the ducking and moving, and it does like the slow down. Then you can like go around and punch them. Like it's really responsive.
Yeah.
So looking forward to doing that again because I think it's
really I really do think it's going to push the sales of this, especially at Christmas, because it is exactly the same as Wii Sports, and everyone's nan knows Wii Sports. You know what I mean? Like everyone had to go to bowling, didn't they? And it's exactly the same. And as it said, they're thinking, right, we're going to try and catch this PS2 for sales. Was it 144,000? A million, I think. But they're going to try and this will get them there, getting close anyway. At least
they're so accessible. Like I say, like anyone can pick that up and have a go.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's really easy to like teach someone how to play one of those games. Like I really like the 51 worldwide games. That's got quite a lot. I think there's a bowling one on that actually. And there's darts and things like that. And then you've got like simple things like Connect 4. There's even like a Skeletrix game on there and stuff like that. And if you push too hard on the stick, it will like fly off the track. So you have to like find that sweet spot on your analog stick and things like that. But that's quite a good one.
The one thing I didn't mention was the what's it called, the sword fighting one. And that is hard to do because you have to some people you just go for it, but like if you block right, it can mess you up.
Yeah,
and
you
you
like
can charge and attack. Yeah, but if you're like tied, so say you both win one and then you draw, what happens is the middle disc drops down and you are literally on this tiny little like round, so literally like 2 hits and you're off for a sudden death.
Yeah.
So which happened to us once. So if that didn't happen, I wouldn't actually know that happens on the game. But so there is a sudden death there. You can have saber, charge saber, or dual sabers. But I didn't find the dual ones actually worked. It didn't give you an advantage. Like you're thinking, I have got advantage, just go for it. Because if you strike down and they're blocking horizontal, then you're gonna get stunned and they can hit you back. So it's good. It's good. It's really good, and I think it would do really well for them. But I'm definitely getting it from day one.
Yeah, I think I might have to as well. When's it actually out?
April 17th, I think.
So not long to go at all.
Yeah.
Not long. Not long.
Yeah, definitely getting that, I think.
I've had a pretty good run of games this last sort of couple of months. I'm gonna have a look at me done pile. Managed to get on to Alan Wake the remaster on the PS5. That was surprisingly good, actually. I mean, I remember Alan Wake being really like a good horror game, a bit like playing like a Stephen King novel. But the actual main character, Alan Wake, I've always said is a bit of a knob. He's not overly likable, but it still holds up really well when you sort of compare it with like modern game mechanics. And it actually looks really good on a PS5 as well. I was really quite surprised at how good that came out. I completed Bugsnax to completeness. I had to get the physical copy of Bugsnax, and I was, for a game that comes across as a kid's game, all the grumpuses, it's all very kiddie and animaty, but it's got some real dark adult undertones like running under the surface of this story. And when it sort of gets into its stride and you start learning about the island and what the Bugsnax are, like it goes a little bit dark. I
remember you talking about that, actually. I do want to look into it.
It's really good. I would recommend it. It's got a soundtrack that's sort of similar to like Minecraft. It's quite relaxing music, but I thoroughly enjoyed it as a kids game. It's really enjoyable. Picked up Back for Blood because that was in a sale, and I'm not entirely sold on it. I don't think Yeah, there's just something about it. They kind of want you to be able to complete it in runs. But once you kind of do a level and die, and if you lose your continues, you have to restart the run again.
I kind of got what they were doing there, 'cause you have like the different cards, don't you? So each time you play, like it will be, they'll have like a few things that mod the game. So every time you play, it's like slightly different. But it feels more like you're playing it online with a group of mates. It's more of like a arcadey. You're just playing that level as opposed to like having a serious campaign.
It's I don't know. I think when you compare it to Left 4 Dead, which is clearly what they're trying to build off of, I think it just goes to show that the reason Left 4 Dead was so good was because of Valve. And I don't think Valve's had any involvement in Back 4 Blood at all. It it looks pretty. The guns all shoot well and everything's kind of fun, but there's just something about it which isn't clicking with me. So I've left it, and I'm going to uninstall it and maybe come back to it in a couple of months, or see if anybody else picks it up, and might be able to jump online with a few people and see how that goes. But it's a bit of a weird one.
It's on Game Pass. So I managed to get it on Game Pass, and I played it a little bit. I think it's one of those games where you need to be like on with people you know, so you can have a bit of a laugh with it. I think it's kind of game you want to play with a group of mates, so you can all be like chatting and stuff while you're playing. So how I used to play Left 4 Dead quite a lot. That was, again, Left 4 Dead was really good though. It's quite a high bar that was set by those games for Back 4 Blood to live up to. But
completely agree. And then quickly smashing through some of the other ones. So Sonic Colors Ultimate, picked that up because it was on sale. That's still really good. If you haven't played Sonic Colors or had an interest in Sonic Colors, it's one of the better 3D Sonic games. So that on the PS4 and Xbox One and Switch, that is a very good game. Hotshot Racing, I was very surprised. Ryan's mentioned that before. I think that was on Game Pass. I don't know if it still is. That's sort of like an old arcadey styled racing game, but it's all old school polygon type graphics. That's really, really good fun. Really good drift mechanic in that. And then the one that really ticked a box for me, I saw Metal Jesus put up a video about it, or saying that he'd done a pickup on it. I then watched Geb stream it. I think it was a Saturday or a Sunday evening. I watched the whole couple of hour stream. Was Hunt Down. A few people have said Hunt Down in the chat, and man alive,
it
Hunt
does look
Down
good.
is good.
I am tempted by that one.
It is so good. It is a side-scrolling run and gun game, but it's the music is very sort of 80s and sort of noir inspired. The graphics are fucking gorgeous for the fact that it's like a 16-bit styled game, but it looks like it belongs in Blade Runner. It looks like a Blade Runner game, really. It's just, there's something about that game that is so addictive. It's got a bit of a challenging learning curve right at the start, but once you kind of get to grips with the mechanics and how it kind of works and stuff, it's just, you really cannot beat that game. I was so impressed with it.
Ali's just said he's completed it. Ali does in the chat.
Yeah, it's excellent. Really,
that's the one that Dorbs bought, wasn't it? Didn't Dorbs buy that as we were like talking to Ali, wasn't it?
He did. Yeah, he did.
Come on, Dorbs, what's it like?
See if Dorbs is there's no real cutscenes in it, Dorbs, either, so you won't be able to skip them or miss much on it.
Not know what's going on.
But I'd highly recommend that. And then I've recently literally just picked up Horizon 2 Forbidden West, which I was going to try and put off. I was going to see if I could resist it, and I just couldn't resist. Couldn't resist it. Still sealed, Dorbs. Still sealed. You haven't even popped it in yet. Unbelievable.
So Horizon,
yeah.
Problem I had is the first one came out as Breath of the Wild come out. So it literally came out the same couple of weeks. And obviously, Breath of the Wild, I basically completed that game twice. So I completed it, thought I'd finished it, and then my son started playing it. And then and then the DLC came out, and I basically came out, and there was fucking loads of stuff I'd missed. So I basically went through and done everything, like done my armor up, caught everything. So anyway, so I was playing that, and then everyone was going on about Horizon, so I got it. But it looks really good. You can get, but I'm like, but I can't just climb up that wall. I can't just do that. Do you know what I mean? Like what you could do on Zelda. So I was trying to, because it's so Zelda-ish, I couldn't really get into it. So
I think Ali agrees with you.
Yeah. It's way
But
better. But Horizon is good, but it's something I'm looking into. But it was 65 quid, wasn't it? That latest one.
It
I'm like,
was.
I'll wait for it to drop.
I had
I
a
did like.
voucher I used on Argos, so I got it for like 45.
Yeah, which is
Yeah,
which is fine.
I did like the first one. I didn't play all the way through. And I think that for me it was just bad timing because I played a lot of games that are very similar to it. And I just completed. I can't remember what time it was or what I was doing. I think I just completed one of the Assassin's Creed games, and where it's quite similar in play style to Assassin's Creed, where you have like the big world map and you can see all your objectives and stuff, and the way the combat works is very similar. I think I was playing. It's like I kind of fancy playing something a bit different. This is too similar to the game that I've just finished, so it's just bad timing. I think if I came back to it, I would really enjoy it. But at the time I started playing it, I played a little bit into it. It's like I just kind of feel like I want a different kind of game at the moment.
Pick it up cheap, like £6, I think, £7 on.
Yeah. It's I played the first Horizon quite late to the game. I didn't play it. So I don't even think I played it the year it came out. I think I played it the following year. I picked it up. I got ill and had like a week off work, and I just played Horizon for the whole week I was off. I have to disagree with Ali though. I think the story for Horizon for me is what elevates it. Gameplay mechanic wise, it's you've not played any game that's unlike it. Like it's very similar gameplay style to other sort of third person action adventure type games. The thing that I think sets it apart from some other games is its accuracy. It's really, really good. The bow is a fantastic weapon. You feel, even though there's no sort
of controller.
Playing it on the PS5 is like you actually feel the torque in the controller. That haptic technology is amazing. But that first one, just that twist in the story where you learn who the robots are, where they came from. I won't spoil it for anybody. I mean, to be fair, the intro to Horizon 2 has the.
I can't agree on it. I will go back to it, but
it's so good. There's the big reveal in that. Genuinely, my jaw hit the floor, and I was like, "Wow, this is high concept sci-fi." It's so good. This new one is kind of because the plot twist, and you can kind of just like hit it running and see what's going to be new, what's going to be exciting. But the thing that is taking it away with this second Horizon is it just looks phenomenal. It is the best next gen looking game that I have seen, and I thought Demon Souls was the best one at the moment, but this is just coming up above it now.
How long did it take to install?
Not long. I did your typical copy, which I think was like 15 minutes, and there was a patch. I couldn't see how big the patch was, but I've just had my internet fixed. So I think whatever patch it was downloading, it was ready to play in under an hour for me. So I was very happy.
There's something I remember from the first one. There was bits where you could like scan and see what things were there before, isn't there? There's something where you can like scan an area and it shows you what was there in the past. Apparently there's a bit in there which is like an arena from the Rigs game. Cool. Do you ever play Rigs on PSVR? That's really good.
Well, I haven't played it, but I know the game.
Yeah, it's a very, very different game. It's like there. Apparently, one of the bits in there. So Rigs is set in the same universe as Horizon. Apparently, just like in the past.
It could
be a weird connection. But,
I think it absolutely could be, and possibly not, mate. Possibly not. Mate. we can come to that. So that's basically what we've been playing recently. So let's jump into some of the news. Some of the gaming news that you get with all the modern systems and the modern companies seems to come in quite thick and fast. So there's been because this is our first one. To go and set the mark, we're not just going to talk about news from the last week. We're going to talk about just some of the big news that's happened, I would say, recently in gaming. So the first topic that I'm going to bring up is Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard, which when people woke up to that news, I genuinely think, certainly for modern gamers, I think people were genuinely taken back. I think people were like, what? This is one of the biggest studios, or one of the biggest game developers. Like, how have they done this? And I'm just going to be quoting some bits from an article that The Verge put out. And the deal for the Activision Blizzard, the amount paid is rumored to be 68 billion.
Ooh.
It is the biggest biggest acquisition, I think, in gaming history. It is absolutely
Wow.
enormous. And going on Activision's website, or Activision Blizzard's website now, and some of the games and franchises that are within that deal are, of course, Call of Duty, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro. Apparently, Sekiro is within that frame. The Tony Hawk series, of course, World of Warcraft, Overwatch, StarCraft, and then I didn't realize, but also King are owned by that studio, so they now own Candy Crush, Bubble Witch
crikey.
Saga, and Farm
Yeah.
Heroes Saga.
Wow.
That is an insane
Mm.
deal. Like, I still find it a bit odd that Microsoft own that, or at least
Yeah.
have a huge say in what goes on. It's a strange one. I know Microsoft are really going hard with the Series X and the Series S this time round, because I think
Mm.
they did lose out, I think, in the last generation. Even though the Xbox One is great, I think the PS4 just hit the ground running straight away. There was no weirdness, there was no concerns that if you bought a game, that was it, you couldn't sell it on, all this kind of stuff. So I think Microsoft really shot themselves in the foot straight away. But this time round, they're really going for it.
Well,
Really going for it.
I thought with the Xbox One, they're a bit ahead of their time. You look at it; they wanted everything digital. They wanted your TV to go through the Xbox, and then your TV guys went up, and you could literally just go with the Connect.
Mhm.
So when you could say Alexa, you
Yeah.
could just say Xbox turn on the show you the TV guide. So and then people kind of got a bit worried about that, so they're a bit ahead of the game.
Mhm.
And then with this year's Christmas, Microsoft 100% won it, like with
Mm.
with the games they brought out, Game Pass, and obviously there was a lot of things like Cabbage Face has said. There was a lot of things going on, and like there was lots of accusations. Yeah, so brought
Mm.
me. There's lots of accusations going on before this buyout. So
Mhm.
um, so literally they've brought this out, and they're saying they're going to honour the stuff left with Call of Duty with the Call of Duty stuff. Like they said, they're going to honour it at the minute with PlayStation, but I think after these next lot of Call of Duty games come out, the rest of them will
Yeah, do you
just
reckon
be.
they'll take it all exclusive
Well,
to Xbox?
yeah, because it's the same as like what they're doing with they've done with all the other stuff they've bought. They're not buying it to get you to buy a PlayStation, are they? They're
No.
like, look, these
Mm.
contracts are still in place,
Mhm.
so they're going to have to honour these contracts. But I'm telling you, like they are. It's not. It's the thing is, it's not all. It's not all good news when you're getting companies bought out constantly by
Mm.
one giant company, because
Mm.
then it all becomes the same plain boring crap, and that's why you don't want one company owning everything. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So they
Although,
even tried buying Nintendo, didn't they, back in the day, and they
yeah.
laughed at them. So
Although to
Mm.
counter that, I would say that one good thing that normally comes from big acquisitions like that is if a company's buying other companies or other brands, they're going to make new content. So whenever you get these big purchases, you're going to see a lot of new stuff,
yeah,
a lot of good content. Like I was a bit concerned
I
like
mean,
when Disney bought Marvel, I was like, not sure if that's going to be good for like fans. And then they bought Star Wars, like LucasArts and Star Wars, like okay, but everything they brought out since then, I've really liked. Like there's some brilliant Disney Plus original series. They brought out all like the Star Wars series stuff as well, and there's been some really good content that's come out. And then they bought Fox as well, and they bought loads of got loads of new stuff from there. Looks like they're going to remake, they're going to reboot or continue on Firefly, and they're going to restart. They're going to carry on the X-Men '90s cartoon from where it left off. All that's come about because Disney were like, right, we're having that company, we're having that company,
yeah, but if
and
you
now it's
look at
happening in like a games environment. Maybe we'll see a lot of good franchises get revitalized and get some new stuff. So I'm hopeful we'll
well,
get some good content out of it.
if you look at like what's happened in the past, you look at like what happened at Rare, for example.
Mm.
Mhm.
They've all just buggered off and started their own one because they're
Mm.
like platonic, aren't they? Because they're like,
Yeah.
and that's the problem. You do need structure. Like, yes, it would be good if big companies come in, but it's like they come in, they'll bin off a load, and they'll try to like merge. Obviously,
Mhm.
these big hitters like Call of Duties and like they can't really kind of touch them stuff because they're going to have to.
Mm.
Because I think is it the multi-platform, like the free-to-play battle royale one. I think it actually does quite well. So I'll be
Yeah.
surprised if that goes. But the main line Call of Duty games will probably just be Xbox exclusive or Game Pass, because Game Pass, guess
Mm.
what? It's like I done with Horizon, like I did with the Forza. it was like rather than pay 60, 70 quid for the game or 50 quid for the game, I thought, you know what, I've got 5 months of Game Pass here, and I've
Yeah,
done it
you
in
can get that
2.
and
And I
everything
just,
else. Yeah,
yeah. So
it's a really good approach to doing it. I really,
yeah.
definitely.
It's a strange one. Like I kind of, because I'm not sort of pro Xbox or pro PlayStation, I do gravitate more towards PlayStation. You know, I'm not completely just, you know, in the middle. But certainly since probably the Xbox 360, I think more people now than ever are multi-platform, multi-games consoles. You know, people have now got more disposable outgo. Some people have got more disposable outgoing, so they have this ability to buy more than one system. Sometimes not straight away at launch. So it feels like a weird one for me. I do kind of agree with Tim. I do think it encourages new growth. It encourages new ideas and things. But you know, on the other side, I also, you know, see it as maybe a bit of a negative now, because it's, you really want one company to end up having everything like that? It's the idea of for me, the beauty of third party games was they were third party. You could play them whichever system you had, and then you would have your hardcore people that were really into a particular system for the, you know, the exclusive titles. So, you know, with Sony it would be, you know, the Uncharted series, and Horizon being one of the newer ones. With Xbox it was always Halo and the Forza series and all this kind of stuff. So it feels like a bit of a weird one for me. And where Microsoft are now sort of almost merging and blending Xbox and PC, I guess it kind of makes sense to have like World of Warcraft. Like maybe they'll bring Warcraft to console there. That's been talked about for ages. Call of Duty, like Dorb said, for me, there hasn't been a great Call of Duty game since probably Black Ops.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of Call of Duty. I don't know. It's just something about it just doesn't click with me. I've just never been a fan. I like my first-person shooters, but for some reason Call of Duty just like can't get excited about it.
Back when Call of Duty 2 was brilliant. The beach running on
Exactly,
Call of Duty 2 was like, oh, wow, that blew my mind. Then Call of Duty 3 was very good, and then 4, that was it. Modern Warfare, the first time they went into the modern era. Call of Duty 4, I still hands down reckon is a game-changing first-person shooter that changed everything. And that for me was what Call of Duty was always about. It was pushing boundaries. It you know, it brought something new to the table all the time. And then I don't know where it was, maybe from just after Black Ops, maybe Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 2, that kind of era, it just became absolutely awful. It was just one game every year, new game every year, not much different. And then it just became totally about the online experience, and then it was then it lost me. It absolutely lost me. It used to be a Call of Duty game every couple of years, and it was an event, and now it's just there. But people are buying it in the bucket load still. It's still one of the most popular games to stream, so people still really enjoy it. So, you know, maybe this is a good move, you know, for people that want to keep streaming Call of Duty, who maybe do it on PlayStation. Eventually, I agree with Blunders, you know, Microsoft would be silly to leave it as a multi-platform game. Will we see streamers jump from PlayStation to Xbox just so they can continue to stream that game? It's very possible.
It's exactly the same as me, mate. I remember day one, got my 360, Call of Duty 2, unbelievable. I'm still going on about it to this day because I got it. Literally got the 360 out the other day. And made my son play it because he was going about Saving Private Ryan a bit on the beach. I was like, mate, Call of Duty 2, play it. But like, exactly the same. Got to about Black Ops, and I was just like, I can't be asked this anymore.
Yeah,
you can pick them up now for like £1.50 each. Like,
they don't retain value.
Yes, I'm tempted just to try and get some, just to do some, like, just to do the co-op on them, like just not co-op, sorry, the main missions, and then just put them in a log again. But because they're obviously really well made, they've sold bucket loads of them. That's why they're probably so cheap, because I mean they're everywhere.
Yeah,
but exactly the same. Thought it was me. Called Black Ops, and I didn't really play it after that.
Yeah,
I think with the online play as well, it's got quite a big, almost like a skill barrier you have to break through to learn the game and get good enough to actually play online. Like some games are quite good at having that accessibility. Like you mentioned, Overwatch is going to be part of that. One of the brands they've taken over, and Overwatch is quite a good one to get into because it doesn't take that long for you to actually feel like you're contributing to the match a bit and you're getting a good, you can start getting a good kill to death ratio quite early on. It's like whenever I play Call of Duty, it's like dead respawn. It's like, oh, what's over here, dead?
Yeah.
They never get a chance. It's just like, I can't really play this because before I figure out what's going on, I've been shot in the head and I've got to respawn. I'm dead again. And there's certain games, things that are more arcade, like Overwatch. Like I think Halo has got a better, entry level ease into it. You can just start playing, and yeah, your first few rounds you'll just completely lose, but it doesn't take as long to start at least having a positive kill to death ratio and start winning matches. Whereas I've just never found that with COD. I go in there, it's like, oh, I'm just constantly dying. I'm not contributing to the match at all. And it's just no fun for me. So I can't enjoy it because I'm just
Still
constantly dying. It's just like, what's going on? So yeah, for some reason it's never clicked with me. I'm fine with other first-person shooters. Like I can play Halo and Overwatch fairly well, but for some reason, Call of Duty, I'm just terrible. What's that? What is like?
Dorbs has said the same. Online is terrible. Respawn, yeah.
Found as well. What was it? The other game I played, I tried to play online. I was like, unfortunately, it was the same sort of thing. I think it was one of the Gears of War games. Because like the Gears of War Horde mode and Gears of War story campaign are brilliant. And then one of them, I think it was like the third one, introduced like the online death matches and stuff. I was like, oh, this should be pretty fun. And again, like people were spawn camping. If you knew where the good weapons were, you just ran straight to them and then spawn camp people and you just died straight away. I was like, oh, okay, it's going to be one of those. And I didn't really get into it.
Yeah. But yeah, Overwatch is a kicker for me because I know Overwatch 2 is coming out and then that will be third party. But if Overwatch 2 is successful, because the first Overwatch has been horrendously successful and it is a brilliant game. I'm not normally one who wants to jump on an online game. But I played the crap out of Overwatch. There was something about that game. And I think at the time there were only 2 modes when I was playing Overwatch, like horrendously. There was just 2 modes and it was so good. So good. There was something about the characters, the guns, the maps, everything clicked really well with that game. And I've just got this feeling that if Overwatch becomes bigger again, then I think you'll see Overwatch become Microsoft only as well, which for them is going to be great. For people that maybe play it on PlayStation who don't want to jump ship, maybe we're going to start seeing people buy an Xbox when they normally wouldn't do. But it's interesting.
Interesting to see what Sony then do to counter that. Like, we'll possibly get a lot more exclusive content from that side.
Well, Tim, funny you say that. So
did that give us a segue?
It did give us a segue.
It did. Excellent.
So the next piece of news that I'm going to bring up was the news that Sony has bought Bungie. And again, I think a lot of people woke up to that news and were a bit like, what's happening? What is, like, you would normally hear Microsoft and Sony and sometimes Nintendo will buy an independent studio because they like the ideas that they've got, and if they buy that studio they get exclusivity rights and they can kind of give these new young developers, new studios, the money and the funding to make cool content. Very rarely, I think, do we see bigger gaming studios or bigger gaming companies buying bigger studios, bigger developers. So the fact that Microsoft just bought Activision Blizzard and Sony have now bought Bungie, it's just anything is to play for now at the moment. But my thought on Sony buying Bungie, I think, is maybe slightly different for Microsoft buying Activision and Blizzard. And I think Sony have bought Bungie for their technology. I think Bungie have got a really good foothold in with cross-party play, their online infrastructure, everything for Destiny is pretty faultless. I know you will get lag, you will get drop and everything because it's just online and the internet. But Destiny 2 as an online experience and a cross-play online experience has been pretty solid, and it is very, very well liked, I think, as well. So I think there's a part of me that thinks that they've done that deal to try and get more exposure to really good online tech, because when you compare it to things like Game Pass and other online services, Sony are trailing a little bit in that regard. And I think they've kind of seen this surge in Game Pass subscriptions and online play and all this kind of stuff. And I think they're kind of thinking we need to get something in here, and we need to get in here quick and maybe not have to spend years developing it ourselves. Let's see if Bungie are willing to do it. And I'll have a look.
Do you know how much they paid?
It wasn't 60 billion. I think the deal. So this is running off of Games Industry Biz. .biz, sorry, and the deal for Sony's buying a Bungie was 3.6 billion, so far more modest than the 60 billion. But Bungie tend to go all in on one game. I know we were sort of talking before we went live tonight, and they're, Bungie were, very famous for the original Halo trilogy and the Halo Wars games. They then passed the torch and sold it on to 343 Studios, which is Microsoft. So they now completely own Halo, which is where it should belong, and they just went all in on Destiny, which was a pretty good idea because I enjoy both Destiny games. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens from this. Is Destiny now going to become a PlayStation only thing? I don't think that's got as much gravitas as something like Call of Duty has, but
I think it will. I think, I can't see Sony wanting to do Microsoft any favors when they've just spent 60 billion on it. And like I said, if Halo was still attached to Bungie, Microsoft would have bought that as well anyway.
Mhm.
So, it's a good deal because, like you said, I think you've got it bang on there with their insight, their infrastructure, the Destiny already all in place. Like, it's a no-brainer, really. So I think I can't see it going cross-platform anyway, unless there is contracts that have already been put in place, like the opposite with Call of Duty. So if there's stuff already in place, then they have to still honour it. So I don't know.
I'm sure, I'm just trying to scroll through this article on gamesindustry.biz because I'm sure there is some sort of clause with the Bungie Sony deal where Bungie still retain something. It's either, I'm sure creative control is going to be completely down to them as well, but I'm sure there's something within the deal that actually gives them something else. It's not like Sony have just bought them and therefore own them outright. There's something else within this deal that kind of gives them quite a lot of power, I guess. I'll have to see if I can find it and see what happens there. People keep bringing up the flipping Amico. Well, if people really want us to go with that, we can chat about the Amico in a little bit. If people really want to go down that rabbit hole tonight, but we'll see. But yeah, I think the Sony deal is slightly different to the Microsoft deal, in that I think it was for tech rather than the games. We'll just have to sort of see where that goes because PlayStation 5's still selling really well. Yeah, if you can still get one, it's still pretty difficult to get.
If you can get hold of one.
Yeah, I still haven't got one yet. I will eventually get a PS5, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I've just been putting off. Well, I still don't know which one I want. I don't know if I want an Xbox Series X or a PS5. I still haven't decided. And they've been out for a while now, and I spent all this time considering which one I want. I was like, I still don't know.
It's like Sheldon in The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
PS4,
very much
Xbox
so.
One.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think this year will be the year that I pick up a Series X. 100%. This is the first time for a little while that I've not gone for both at launch. I just thought, no, to stick with one for a little bit, let them bed in. So kept it on with PlayStation, but certainly with Halo Infinite and Forza Horizon 5, now's the time to pick up a new Xbox. 100%.
Around the time I was buying a new console, I ended up getting a Oculus Quest 2. So I was like, do I want an Xbox Series X or a PS5? I was actually, I'm going to go get an Oculus. So that's been keeping me busy anyway.
Yeah. I got an Xbox Series X at launch.
Yeah.
And I managed to get PlayStation as well. But
nice.
To be fair, it wasn't really much out for I really like last year because obviously with the pandemic going on and everything. But
I tell you one thing that will, speaking of exclusive games and things, one thing that will push me to get a PS5 is if they bring out a follow-up to the PlayStation Spider-Man game. That Spider-Man game they had on the PS4.
Yeah, Miles Morales.
They have
excellent. They've got a new one coming out.
Yep, Spider-Man 2, funnily enough, titled, and it's don't know quite how the game mechanic's going to work, but it's got Miles Morales and Peter Parker in it.
I knew there was a Miles Morales one, but I've not really gone for that. But yeah, the new I heard that one was just like the same as the Spider-Man 4, but just with like additional content. Really,
have you not played it yet, Tim? Oh,
no,
mate,
played it.
Seriously, if you
I didn't realise it was available on PS4. I thought that game was on PS5 only. But it's only recently I realised you can actually get it on PS4 as well. So maybe
there's with all them PS4 units in people's homes, there is no way they're keeping it just one way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know, in that Spider-Man game, it was It felt like you were playing through a Spider-Man series as opposed to like a Spider-Man film, and it just worked so well. I really enjoyed it. And you felt like you got the experience of being Spider-Man. It's like, right, I've got this thing I'm trying to do, and you're crossing the city because there's somewhere you're going to go. But then you hear some sirens, like, oh, there's a crime taking place. I better sort that out first. And you have all these little distractions around the city. It's like, oh, and then you've got stuff to do as Peter Parker. Like, oh, I can't pay my rent, and I've lost my clothes, and all those sorts of missions you do. It's like, oh shit, there's another mugging. I better sort that out. And you just everything is pulling you from one direction to another. And you kind of get this little experience, like this is what it's like for Spider-Man, and it's just, and the web swinging as well. Go travel, like why would you use the fast travel? Like the web swinging around the city was so much fun. It's like I'm never using the fast travel feature. I literally have to web swing 100%. Such a fun game. But yeah, would definitely play the hell out of a follow up to that.
So my 9-year-old, he basically played. We got the PS5 on launch with Miles Morales, and he completed that. And obviously, if you get that one, you'll also get the original Spider-Man. We already had that anyway.
Okay, yeah.
So he done both of them. But he went the other way. So he got Miles Morales first, and then he played Spider-Man.
All right.
He's done them both straight away. And like 9 years old.
The two things that were missing. The two things missing from the Spider-Man game was like Green Goblin and Venom. So I really hope like in the next one they'll introduce Venom into
the future characters, future games.
Yeah, I definitely think that's why they held off. It's like if the next game we get Venom and Green Goblin, that would be amazing. Like they did a really good job like, bit where how they brought in the Sinister Six, like the start of the game as well, where it pans around his bedroom. He's got all the newspaper clippings. It's like, okay, the Vulture, the Shocker, Rhino, they're all in prison. You get the idea. It's, okay, you establish in an opening shot that he's been Spider-Man for a few years. He's caught a bunch of villains. You jump out the window and start swinging, and you're off to go take down the Kingpin. I was like, what a brilliant opening to a game. It's like this is that was ace. That was really good.
There was a really cool little after credit scene in the credits of the first Spider-Man game where you got your little Venom tease. So anyone that hasn't played it, I've just ruined it for you. I haven't ruined the story, just ruined it. And in the trailer for Spider-Man 2 for PS5, there's a huge Venom reveal. So
I need to go watch that trailer. As soon as we're off this, I'm going to go and watch that trailer. I can't wait for that.
Right, last couple of bits of news. They're not as sort of discussion heavy, really, but I figured they're pretty big news pieces, so we've got to bring them up. So this is recently, as in the last few days, this has come about, and that is the Cyberpunk 2077 next gen updates. They are here. I think people were thinking when they said it was going to be in Q1, maybe Q2 of 2022. I don't think people thought it would come this quickly. It's pretty much a year to the date that Cyberpunk launched. I feel really bad for CD Projekt Red because I played the game on PS5 maybe a month after it came out and thoroughly enjoyed the entire thing. I had a few bugs, I had a few issues, but it certainly wasn't for me anyway, it certainly wasn't the car crash that people said it was. It might have been on maybe base units. I don't know. Maybe I was just very, very lucky. But I'm pleased that there is a patch for even like the old consoles as well, so people can now experience it the way it should have been done. And then anyone that's got a PS5 or an Xbox Series X, they can now experience it the way it was meant to be done. I guess the whole way.
So you completed, and you were quite an advocate for this, weren't you?
Yeah. I really liked it.
I held off on purpose because I just felt it was rushed. You know what I mean? The classic Nintendo saying a rush game will be bad forever. Do you know what I mean? So I thought I'd wait, and now this has come out. You can pick this up for peanuts. And like Dorbs has said that he's been playing it.
Yeah.
Now might be the time that I actually do pick it up because I wanted to wait until most of these bugs have been fixed and that, because I know they haven't, but it's not as bad, but I just I didn't want to have a complete buggy mess like when it got in the pool. But I felt bad for them because, do you know what I mean? You don't want developers like having to literally crap out a game because they're against the clock and it wasn't right. Do you know what I mean? So I'd rather just wait until it was ready to play rather than just
And I think you'll have a really good time with it, mate. I love the world. I loved the the feel about it, I really, really just liked everything about the game. I can't wait to jump in and actually experience it with next gen graphics. So I completed the main story. I spent a bit of time in the side missions and side quests because I just get distracted with those all the time, and there are fucking tons of them in this game. So I figured I'd been playing it for about sort of maybe 30 hours, maybe the sort of 35-hour mark, and I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to complete the main story now, and then when the next gen patches come out, I'm going to pick a different class and I'm going to play it again, and I'm going to do everything. I'll do all the missions, all the side missions for that character when I go in and do it a second time round, because I loved the universe that much. It's a really solid shooter. The melee combat is pretty good as well. The driving is fantastic. The variety of cars, bikes, just everything. I was just so gutted for them that it launched, and it launched terribly, because I loved it. I loved it.
About
Yeah, it had problems.
what's
Yeah, it
this
had
vending
bugs, but
machine? What's this vending machine missions? Doors are saying. What are they like?
the vending machine missions.
They're weird.
I'll leave that. it's got some quirky missions. I will give it that, but it is a very adult game. I will give it that. It is a.
The
It is
produce
a
have lovely personality.
It seems a shame, really, that it had all the bugs and stuff that it did, because it seems like
Yeah.
all the stories and all the things I saw about it were mostly people talking about the bugs and the weird things in it, which, if they've all been fixed, fair enough. But that was all the news stories about it, were just people talking about the bugs and things like that, and it probably overshadowed how good the game actually was. Because anyone I know that's actually played it says how great it is, but whenever I've seen anything about it from articles or people talking about it online, it's always been just bashing the bugs.
Yeah,
So
because
it's
it's
a
negative.
shame, really, because it's such
Yeah.
a shame that it had that impact, had those issues on launch, because otherwise I think we would be talking about it in a very different light.
Yeah, completely agree.
Those
There was a
issues,
lot of people saying it was overhyped. I don't think it was overhyped whatsoever. I think I get why some people were a bit annoyed, and I think they'd originally come out and shown it running, and they were like, "This is running on a base PS4. This is running on a base Xbox One," and it clearly wasn't. It was clearly running on a PC. Because when I look at some of my friends who were playing it on base model PS4, and I look at how I was playing it on PS5, and then look at how my son was playing it on PC, and the three of us were all having a very different experience. My son having the better of the experience, I think. So it's going to be cool to go back into it. Whether I'll get to do it in the next couple of months, probably not. It might be something that I jump into over the summer again, I think. But yeah, great game. I'm so pleased that that's got its patches out now, and can kind of get going. And the last bit of news is good news, but it's also sad news for me. And I'll explain why. The Mario Kart 8 booster courses. So this is fantastic news for Mario Kart 8, because it is, for me, it is the best Mario Kart game. It is wonderful. Everything about that game is a great kart racer. The thing that sucks for me is probably the same reason people keep getting annoyed that GTA 5 keeps getting re-released, is it's just delaying Mario Kart 9 for me. And it's purely selfish, because I played Mario Kart 8 to death on the Wii U, and then I played it again to death on the Switch. I kind of feel like I don't want more courses for Mario Kart 8. I would like a new Mario Kart experience. And I mean, maybe this is just to tide people over the next couple of years whilst they develop it, and next year we'll get some sort of new Mario Kart announcement. But
see, this might prompt me to get Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch, because I've got it on the Wii U. So I've only ever had it on the Wii U. I've never had the Switch version. So there's more tracks coming out. I might get Mario Kart 8 on the Switch now.
I've got both versions. I've got the limited edition version on the Switch. It comes with the blue shell. Which
nice.
Out actually, and then the Switch version. Oh, it's unbelievable. But like I'm kind of in the same boat as Ollie. Like there's 48 tracks there. That's Mario Kart 9 there. But like I'm saying, if you I've been listening to other podcasts that have spoken about it. You think would they go down this Mario Kart like Smash Brothers route? So are we going to get a Mario Kart Ultimate for 9, which has unlimited tracks random, all these
Mhm.
new random characters, because like the DLC that you were getting, these extra characters and mods, which obviously comes with Ultimate from the Wii U lot, the DLC from the Wii U days. Looking at this DLC, it looks like it's about £22, 46 tracks, released in waves. First wave comes out, I think it's beginning of March. If you've got the new super duper Nintendo extra premium like what was it online,
Mhm.
which gives you like one drip feed N64 game a month, then you'll
So
get that for free.
you get all of the tracks for free if you've got Nintendo
Yes, but they
Switch
come out in
Online.
waves. Yeah, but they come
But
out in waves.
I was thinking cost-wise, if it's 20 quid for the DLC, if
Yeah,
it's 30 quid for a year's worth of
but
the pass, that's not a bad deal, really, is it? I suppose if you're getting that plus everything else.
but when they do what they're doing now and snip off that internet connection to the Switch library back in future, then you'll
Yeah.
have no access to it anyway. So, but someone did say, you think they've sold so many copies of Mario Kart 8, haven't they?
Mhm.
So why would they
Yeah.
want to then go, you know what, here's another one? Or if everyone spends 20 quid, it's probably more than what they would get from developing a whole new game.
Yep.
I think Mario
I do
Kart
wonder if
9
they'll
will
bring
come
out
out
like
on the new console.
I wonder if they'll bring out a physical copy of 8 plus, or like 8 with the extra tracks rather than just DLC. They'll have to re-release it for that.
Nintendo games do not drop in price, so
Yeah,
I can't see them doing that and going,
no,
here's
that's a fair
another
point.
Mario Kart
Yeah.
8 with extras. They're not going to really. I just think that Mario Kart 9, if it ever does come out, will be for like the new Switch 2 Plus Pro, whatever they're going to bring out there, like they did with the Wii U version. It'll just be on the next console, which is a shame because I have every single Mario Kart game and I love it. This is one of my favorite series.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely can't beat Mario Kart, really, can you? It's just one of the
so
best
good.
ones. Although I will say, I think my favourite one was probably the one before the Mario Kart Wii, before Mario Kart 8. I really like. The one thing with Mario
Seven
Kart
on
Wii
the
that you don't
3DS.
do on Mario Kart 8 was that you can hold an item behind you. And then if you're in first place and you've got a mushroom or got a banana skin, you can hold it behind you and then pick up another weapon. Whereas in Mario Kart 8, you can't hold on. If you're holding the weapon behind you, it doesn't remove it from your slot and you
Yeah.
can't pick up a second weapon. And just that subtle little thing for me, I think I found it harder to stay in first place if you can't do that because you can't
Mhm.
sort of exploit it. Some people might argue that's better, but I found that a bit annoying because that was like my tactic on Mario Kart Wii all the time. It's just like
Cheating.
hold the arm
Some
behind it.
people would
Not
call it.
cheating, it's just tactic. Not cheating because it's allowed in the game.
Holding a car, holding an item behind you and picking up
Yeah,
others.
yeah. Because then you've
No,
got a
I'm
shield behind you,
just,
haven't you? And then as soon as you drop it, you then place the other one. You've got to pick something else. But there's a time then, isn't it? You've got a bit of time before
you
when
talking
you're
about the Wii one, or are you
yeah
talking
on
about
Mario Kart
number
Wii.
Wii? So yeah, number 7
Yeah,
was
yeah.
actually on the 3DS. So
Okay,
you're
yeah,
thinking
yeah.
of Mario Kart 6.
So it would have been 6 for the Wii, yeah. Because
Yeah,
on
then
that, I
you
mean,
had
sorry,
Mario
my other
Kart
one.
DS.
You hold it behind when you're holding it behind you. It means your weapon slot is empty, and you can
Yeah.
pick up another item. So then, if someone hits you with a shell in the banana skin, it destroys it. You can immediately put something behind you before you pick something else up. Whereas in 8, if someone hits the thing behind you, you're vulnerable until you pick up another item. And I find that a bit more stress-inducing when you're in first place. You've got nothing behind you. Like, come on,
Yeah, but
where's
what,
the damn weapon?
what's your favourite one, Ollie?
It's 8. 100%
Yeah.
all the way. Mario Kart 8 is my favorite Mario Kart. I would say it used to be Mario Kart 64 because nostalgia,
Not the
and it's
rubber band
still
on that.
but it was so good. It was so
Yeah.
groundbreaking. But for me, yeah, Mario Kart 8 is the best. The just everything about it,
Right.
they just perfected it.
I do like Mario Kart 8. Double Dash I like as well.
Double Dash is very underrated.
That's one of
Very
my favourite.
underrated.
But the with the SNES version, I just think the first time ever playing it, mate. Go back and play it now though. It's tough. The controls aren't like what you're used to like nowadays. But yeah, for me, it's got to be the all-time classic one. I think, especially
Yeah.
my favourite track with the old feather flip over in the old just get that half
Yeah,
cut. Yeah, completely take half that
definitely.
track out. Yeah, that's my favourite.
But we'll have to see what that holds. We'll have to see what happens.
Mm.
See what this does for Mario Kart 8. Is it going to be a prolonged game, or is there going to be a Mario Kart 9? We'll have to
I
see.
think it is. I think it's prolonged.
Yeah. So that,
one weird story actually before we move on.
well,
I was
yeah,
playing
go for
Mario,
it.
so you could play Mario Kart Wii online. I don't know
Mhm.
if anyone's had a similar experience to this. I don't know what was going on, right? So you get to a certain point where I was doing the time trial, so I knew the courses really well. So I would consistently come in first unless something fucked me over like a blue shell or somebody just got lucky with weapons and I missed it. But uninterrupted, I was generally coming in first like 90% of the time, and it did that thing where you get ranked, right? So if you won, you would move up a rank, and then the people you're racing with were like on your level. And as soon as you lost, you'd drop down a rank, and then you'd be playing with like people in the lower ranks. So then you would. It was really well designed because if you went down and you lost, all of a sudden you're racing with people lower ranked, and then you start winning again until you got back into the top ranked, and you just try and stay in that top rank as long as you could. And I was in the top rank for a while, and then someone driving as Wario had a permanent star, and like the Stardust never ran out; it was constantly going. And they were specifically targeting me, and they were just driving after me and knocking me over and knocking me over. And it's like, what's going on? It was so weird. But then
Mate,
because I was in like 12th place, I was getting the really good items. So I was getting like a bullet bill. So I was like zooming across, and then next thing you know, a little while later, it's like he's back again, knocking me over, back into 12th place, and it happened. I was like, what on earth was going on? I don't know if it was part of the game or if someone had like hacked it or what. But then I ended up coming in like, I don't know, 8th or something in the end, and then I got pushed back down the rankings again, and it never happened again since. It happened once. I was like, why the hell is this invincible Wario just like zoning in on me? Really bizarre. If anyone has any idea what was up with that, if you've had any experience similar, comment away and let me know. But yeah, I had
Intriguing.
no idea what was going on there. Absolutely
So
bizarre.
before we do segue into just the last couple of bits there, interesting one from Harry there. Do we ever think there will ever be another 3D Donkey Kong game? Because they've done Tropical Freeze twice, haven't they? They've released that on the Nintendo the Wii U. That then got a lot of the Wii U library that no one really got to play. Got put on, is coming out to the Switch. So being able to for people to be able to play Tropical Freeze on the Switch is cool. But they went back to the Donkey Kong Country Classic sort of 2D.
Yeah.
So yeah, another 3D Donkey Kong game.
Well, the N64 version, I think you're about.
That's cool. I really like that game. It's a bit underrated, and it's a little bit clunky when you compare it to something like Banjo-Kazooie. But I quite like Donkey Kong 64. It's an interesting one.
I think Nintendo do good 3D platformers. I think we kind of had a bit of a period in the PlayStation 1 era where we just got bombarded with like 3D platformers. There's some good ones, obviously things like Spyro and Croc and things like that. But there's a lot of bad ones as well. But Nintendo only brought out a handful, and they're all pretty good. So yeah, I'd play another 3D like Mario Galaxy games and the Mario Odyssey. Mario Odyssey was excellent. So yeah,
how you do it,
see
basically.
a 3D Donkey Kong one. I think that would work.
Could be interesting.
I would love it. Like Harry said, if that come out, mate, day one, I'd love it.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, I just had so many fond memories. If everyone remembers, what did you have to have with the N64 version for it to work in your N64?
Oh, the expansion pack.
Yeah, it came with the expansion pack. So if you didn't have that RAM expansion, it wouldn't work. So.
Oh, really?
Yes, mate. Yeah, it came with a box. So yeah, I remember like he gets a little plastic thing to hook the old one out, and I'm like, what am I doing with this? In the bin, click the red one in, click the red one in, and you think you've like souped up your N64, but yeah,
had to be done.
Harry's put the expansion pack. Yeah, definitely.
I did love the thing you plugged into the N64. We could plug in the original Pokemon games, and then you could.
Oh no, that was what came with back. Yeah, I've got that as well. That came with
Pokemon Stadium. Yeah, that was cool. And then you could play with your Pokemon on Pokemon Stadium, which is good fun.
Excellent. So, last couple of topics. This is something that if we move forward with ModCons and people quite enjoy it and we get to do a couple more, this will be probably something that I'll do on a monthly basis, is round off what free games there are for certain services. So Sony have PS Plus, and every month with PlayStation Plus, you get a handful of free games. So the February 2022 free games on PlayStation Plus are UFC 4, which is UFC. It's a fighting game, basically becoming like the FIFA of the fighting world. Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon's Keep. Now that is, from what I gather, either a short excerpt or like a prologue to Tiny Tina's game that's coming out this year, I believe, from Gearbox, people that have done Borderlands, thank you.
Yeah,
so it's very much in that cell-shaded graphics type type sort of situation. But yeah, Tiny Tina's from the outset of what the gameplay and the trailers all make it look like. I think it's going to be very cool. If you like Dungeons and Dragons, I think it's going to be an essential purchase. So yeah, I will be downloading that and giving that a go just to sort of see what that world is like. And then the PS5 one this month is Planet Coaster, which I think, as Blun has said before we came on, it's basically theme park, but for roller coasters.
Yeah, it does look quality.
It does look fun. I will give it
Yeah,
that. And that's
yeah.
the good thing with PlayStation is they release a couple of games. All of them can be played on PS5, so you don't have to have a PS4 to play the PS4 ones. It's backwards compatible, but they always do at least one PS5 exclusive as well, which is pretty cool. So if anyone has played those or has any inkling to play those, I think
Build your
they'll be
own
good.
Peppa Pig world, couldn't you?
Sorry?
Build your own Peppa Pig world. That place makes a killing.
God.
Planet Coaster, I have to admit, that is one I'm going to stick in the library because I kind of want to play it. I get bugs to play theme park.
Yeah.
So this one might just sort of scratch that
I've
itch.
I've never really been into those sorts of games apart from theme park. So I had theme park on the Mega
Everyone.
Drive for Christmas one year, and I played that absolutely loads. I really loved it. But all the other ones like Theme, Hospital, and Roller Coaster Tycoon, all those sorts of other ones you get of the same ilk, I've never really got into. I've just only really played theme park on the Mega Drive. That's the only one I really got into.
Harry loves it as well.
Yeah, I definitely played Theme Hospital and Theme Park. Yeah, outside of those two, yeah, there's quite a few.
I do think it's quite funny in the theme park. Well, I learned the trick. I don't know if you know the trick about the way to make loads of money on drinks. Someone told me it's really silly, but you sell fries at cost, so you have no profit on your fries, but you put the salt content to be like really, really high, like a maximum salt content, and right next to the fry stand you have like a drink stand, and you sell your drinks with a massive markup, and everyone's like eating the chips because they're really cheap, but they're really salty, so they immediately want to buy a drink, and your drinks are way overpriced, and that's how you make loads of money.
There you go. Tips of the trade to get into theme park there. And then Microsoft also have a service, Games with Gold. So if you pay for your Microsoft subscription, which isn't Game Pass, just to highlight, this is just their standard. If you want to pay £40 or £45 a year to be able to play online games, they do Games with Gold. So
you do get the Games with Gold included in Games Pass as well.
You do.
So if you've got Game Pass, you do also get the Games with Gold included in that.
Definitely, for sure you do. So Games with Gold this month is Broken Sword 5, which I know absolutely diddly squat about, but from looking online, it definitely looks like a point-and-click adventure. I think, Tim, you said you've played a couple of the Broken Sword
I played
games.
some of the older Broken Sword. I don't know. I assume 5 is going to be point-and-click as well, because they all are. But I could be wrong, because I haven't actually played it. So
yeah, no, it definitely looks like it is. Sorry, 2 seconds. We've got someone there trying to get someone to go and click on some stripping links. Click on that link at your peril, chaps or lasses. Wallpaper Stripper is back. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, Broken Sword 5, Aerial Knights Never Yield, and the 360 backwards compatibility. Sorry, it was Band of Bugs, which I have never heard of.
Yeah, so I had a look at both. Aerial Knights looks really good. It's like a good run and shooting game, but like, and it goes like retro as well. You put coins in, and actually looked quite good. So, and the Band of Bugs kind of looked a bit like I'd say like a modern day Command and Conquer kind of thing. You've got certain characters and only go certain ways, and that is a 360 platform.
Excellent. So there we go. If you have any of those services, there are some free games to be jumping on. And then the last thing we are going to bring up, just because there's quite a few heavy hitters, I think, this month, is February 22 releases that people should be watching out for. So the games that I've pulled out as being ones that I think are essential, obviously if you chaps know some other ones you want to chuck in there, absolutely do. So for me, this month, Horizon 2 Forbidden West is definitely up there as one of the games that is a heavy hitter this month. Probably the biggest hitter comes out on Friday is Elden Ring. For anyone that's into the Soul series or any of the From Software games, Elden Ring is going to be mental. It's going to be absolutely mental. Really can't wait for that.
Are you into them?
I've gotten into them. Demon Souls on PS5 is what turned the tide for me. I've persevered with the Souls games and never really clicked. But Demon Souls, there was something in it that just oh man, it was satisfying.
I imported Demon Souls on the PS3,
Hmm.
and oh mate, I just didn't know what I was getting myself into. But yeah,
It's
I
not
haven't
easy.
really ever got into them. No, I've never really got into them. They are so you just get
It's
frustrated after a while.
it
And
is a
when your time's
challenge.
precious, you like.
Yeah,
I've just
100%.
wasted a couple of hours just trying to do the same bit. It's like, what am I doing?
I think now that I'm sort of, I feel like I'm in and I feel like I can experience it. I am going back over the Souls games, the Dark Souls games, and
Yeah.
appreciating them completely differently. But I do think it is a very specific type of game. I couldn't go from Dark Souls 1 to Dark Souls 2 to 3 to Demon Souls to Elden Ring to Sekiro and just play those types of games all the time because it would just do my head in.
Cabbage Place put the tutorial is impossible. Yeah, I just they are. It's rewarding because obviously, look, you get there. It's brilliant when you're into a new bit. You're like, oh, what's going on around here? And then it's just like, oh shit, run! You're just running away. Like,
Yep.
but yeah.
But yeah, so Elden Ring I think is going to be big. Sifu
big,
as well. Lots of people talking and streaming Sifu at the moment. Big one for me, I think a big one for anyone that's got a Switch who maybe hasn't played these games is the Assassin's Creed Ezio collection.
Yeah, I've
The
got
best
that on
Assassin's
PS4,
Creed.
that one.
Yep.
And yeah, I loved all the Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah.
And that one, like you said, the Ezio is. They haven't been able to match him really.
No.
I like the new ones. I really like the new ones. They're very good. Black Flag, obviously, very good as well.
Black Flag was fantastic.
Yeah,
I think it's only Unity I didn't like because that was a bit.
Syndicate, I wasn't a fan
It's
of.
all right. I think like,
Syndicate
it was a
was
big change because in all the other games you're like a master assassin, and like you were going from Edward Kenway, who's like a really good character, who's like in terms of like your skill in the game, you could take on like an army after like 5 minutes of playing. Whereas like with the guy you play Arno, is it in Unity? I get what they were doing. You were like a very low level assassin, and you had to learn all these abilities and upgrade your weapons and like level up as you go. So you were just like not very good at the start. You'd struggle with like 2 or 3 people fighting you. And for me, it just changed the experience a bit too much. And it was a bit clunky and buggy as well.
You played any new ones?
I played the last one I played. I missed one. I missed the Egypt one, and I played the one that's like in the Spartan and
Odyssey.
Odyssey, yeah, I think I played Odyssey. Was huge as well. I was playing that for ages. I looked at the map. I was like, I've still got so much left to do in this game, and I kind of
played Valhalla.
No, I've not played Valhalla yet. I played all the other ones. I played like Black Flag's probably my favourite. Yeah, the Ezio trilogy. If you've not played them, or if you know you might play them, want to get them again, they are great. I think when that jump from Assassin's Creed 1 to 2, I can remember I was a bit late to the party on Assassin's Creed, and someone said to me, "Look, if you're going to play Assassin's Creed 1, you have to play it before you play 2, because if you play 2, you'll start 1 and think like, no, this isn't worth it." So I was like, okay, I'll do that. So I played through 1, and then as soon as I start playing 2, I was like, yeah, this is really taken up a notch. It was really really good experience. But yeah, those 3 games combined, like Revelations, is really good. Yeah, excellent series.
I say the only one I'm halfway through because it came out at the same time as Black Flag, and I literally bought my PS4 with Black Flag just because obviously the graphics and upgrade on it. But there's Rogue, and
so I skipped
halfway through it, and you're actually this time you're the Templars trying
to.
You're
Templars, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah,
I hear that there's a bit in it where a character in Rogue is actually someone who assassinates somebody at the start of Unity. Like there's a scene that takes place in Assassin's Creed Rogue, and you kind of see it in passing at the start of Unity. So apparently those 2 games immediately cross over from one another.
Interesting. And then the last game this month that I think would be of worth is Martha is Dead. There's a lot of controversy around this game at the moment, being that the PS4 version and the PS5 version of the game is going to be cut because there is a scene in the game where something happens which they have deemed they do not want in the game. However, the Xbox and PC versions remain unchanged, so I will be playing that on Xbox. However, it is frustrating because I believe the physical version is PlayStation, and I do like my physical media. So, you're
gonna get both, aren't you? Let's be honest. You're gonna end up buying a PlayStation version, so you got a physical copy.
I'm not, because it's for me a cut version of something is not the full version.
Real deal, is it?
It annoys me a little bit. Like I'm the same for movies as well. You know, I'm all for in the cinema or public showings of things. If people think things need to be edited because you can only run as fast as your slowest team member, and if your slowest team member is a fruitcake who can't be trusted, then you've got to look after these people. However, in the home, for my own personal taste, I should be able to say whether or not I am capable of watching or experiencing something uncut in the format that it's intended. So yeah, that type of censorship does annoy me for
100%.
personal viewing. So yeah, bit annoying, but we'll see. It's definitely going to be a game that I'm going to play though for sure. Looks interesting. Definitely looks interesting. And there we have it. That brings us to the end of our first episode of Mod Cons. So there we have it, chaps. Thank you everyone for joining us in the chat. It's been a very, very active chat. We've had all sorts of topics there, trying to get some songs in there for Goldtooth to sing tomorrow. If anyone's going to be tuning in tomorrow, we have the regular RGR crew chatting with Goldtooth Gaming, which is going to be a very fun show. So if you're about tomorrow, definitely make sure you tune into that. This has been fun. I like talking modern games. I enjoy talking modern games. Hopefully people will have enjoyed it as well, and it'll be something that we can sort of maybe do bi-weekly, once a month. We'll see, because we are predominantly a retro gaming channel, so we don't want to flood it with modern content. But for those of us that do modern game as well as retro game, this is a nice outlet for us. And Mr. Davison, if you just oh my god, my mouse is going all sorts of funny.
Is there any questions in the chat? Does anyone want to ask any questions or anything?
Let's have a look. It's been a lot of people interacting with what we're saying tonight, which is great.
Other than Love's Face.
Oh man.
XYZ.
The stripper is back. These people are desperate to get us to click this link. So it's up to you, chaps. If you want to click that link and see what the stripping's all about, absolutely go for it. Man. Excellent. But no, thank you so much everyone for watching. Thank you guys for joining tonight, and we shall hopefully see you in a couple of weeks' time. There we go, and we will see you all soon. So good evening, good night.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.